Have you ever had the feeling that the universe is constantly testing you, as if everything is happening at once? What if I told you that this is a clear sign that your reality is about to change radically? In this video, we'll explore what it really means when the universe seems to be testing you. Let's uncover how these challenging moments are actually the prelude to a powerful transformation in your life. If you've been feeling like you're on the verge of something big, get ready, because change is coming. Welcome to the Eye of the Soul channel. We meet on Earth to experience something completely new and different. Human life, with all its nuances and complexities, offers a unique opportunity to experience. The ultimate purpose of our journey here is not to reach a predetermined goal, but rather to explore the diverse possibilities that human existence offers. With every choice we make, with every challenge we face, we are learning and expanding our understanding of ourselves and the universe around us. This experimentation is essential, as it allows us to explore our own essence and our creative potential in an environment full of limitations, contrasts, and uncertainties. When we arrived on Earth, we assumed a new form of consciousness, limited by the physical body and the perception of linear time. This gives us the opportunity to learn lessons that would be impossible on other planes of existence. Physicality and intense emotions such as fear, love, pain, and joy help us grow in aspects that can only be explored in the context of earthly life. Each experience, no matter how simple it may be, carries with it profound learning. We often seek answers about our purpose through external sources, such as religions or philosophical systems. While they can offer valuable reflections, true understanding of why we are here must come from internal exploration. Life on Earth is an invitation to this personal quest, where each of us is challenged to find our own path and meaning. It is through this journey of self-discovery that we realize that the ultimate goal is not to reach a final state of perfection or enlightenment, but rather to seize the opportunity to live, learn, and evolve in an environment that constantly challenges us and inspires us to seek more. Earth offers us a stage for a complete experience, where each of us is the creator of our own story. The absence of past life memories, for example, may seem like an obstacle, but it is actually a gift we have received. When we are born, our mind has no memory of previous existences, which allows us to live in an authentic and pure way. This amnesia gives us the chance to explore the world as if for the first time, free from influences or expectations created by past experiences. Each new experience, whether simple or complex, is fresh and unique. This amnesia also opens the door to freedom of choice. We are not limited by old perceptions or mistakes from other lives. We are free to create new paths and learn from current challenges. If we were fully aware of everything we have already experienced, it could overwhelm us and impede progress in this life. Therefore, this lack of memory is, in fact, a gift that allows us to fully focus on the present and connect with the human experience in all its fullness. Living without past memories also leads us to value moments. When you experience something for the first time, like your first love or your first true friendship, the intensity of those emotions is great. Spiritual amnesia gives us the chance to live these moments with total surrender, without comparisons with past experiences, allowing each moment to be appreciated in its entirety. This enriches our journey, making it a constant discovery. This forgetfulness also pushes us to search within. As we go through life, we question who we are and what our purpose is. Without ready answers from previous lives, we are forced to explore these questions in new and personal ways. This search for self-knowledge drives us to expand our consciousness, question our beliefs, and discover deeper truths about our nature. Amnesia also challenges us to trust our intuition and inner wisdom. Without direct memories to guide us, we learn to access a deeper level of understanding where true wisdom resides. It's as if we were led to develop a new skill, a way of following life through internal connection and not through accumulated experiences. This process strengthens our connection with our higher self and helps us live more authentically. The idea that we are constantly being tested by a higher force, judged by our actions and thoughts, is a belief that has been cultivated by many religious and cultural systems over time. However, this view that our lives are a series of trials to achieve a reward or avoid a punishment may be an illusion. The true test comes not from an external entity, but from the limiting beliefs we carry and the assumptions we accept as truth. These beliefs that we are being judged often originate from dogmas that have been passed down for generations. From an early age, we are taught to think that our actions are being watched by a higher authority, which is ready to punish or reward us. However, when we reflect more deeply on this narrative, we realize that these tests are our creations, originating from the expectations we project onto ourselves. We create challenges based on what we believe to be right or wrong, good or bad. This perspective creates a limited reality. When we believe we are being tested by something greater, our life becomes a constant attempt to satisfy external criteria, which can disconnect us from our true creative power. We are the ones who shape the situations we face, and by adopting the idea that we are being judged, we begin to project difficulties and obstacles that confirm this belief. Each challenge that arises seems to be another test imposed, when in fact, we are the authors of these experiences. Recognizing that tests are illusions is an important step towards personal freedom. Instead of seeing life as a testing ground, we can understand it as a continuous opportunity for growth and learning. There is no judge waiting to evaluate each action. It is we who, through our choices and perceptions, create what we call success or failure. Life is a process of evolution, not a final judgment. When we realize this, the pressure to be perfect or to live up to an imposed standard disappears. We begin to understand that the challenges we encounter are not punishments or tests, but reflections of our own beliefs and expectations. This change in perspective frees us to experience life with more lightness and creativity, allowing us to make choices without the weight of fear or guilt. So the real test we face is to recognize that there is no test other than the one we create in our own minds. By freeing ourselves from this illusion, we make space to live more fully and authentically, guided by our intuition and inner wisdom, not by external expectations that limit us. From the moment we are born, we are shaped by the beliefs, values, and expectations of those around us. Parents, teachers, friends, and society at large have a powerful influence on how we perceive the world and our place in it. Many of these influences are unconscious, but they play a fundamental role in shaping our reality. However, not all beliefs we inherit serve us well. They often limit our potential and prevent us from seeing how capable we are of creating our own experiences. These influences begin early, when we are still children, absorbing the ideas and values of the adults around us. Without the critical ability to discern what is true for us, we adopt these beliefs as if they were universal laws. If our parents believe that life is a constant struggle, we will likely inherit that perspective. If our teachers teach us that we must conform to established standards to be successful, we often follow that path without question. The reality we construct is, to a large extent, a reproduction of what we were taught. Over time, these beliefs solidify and we begin to see them as unquestionable truths. They form the basis of our perceptions and, consequently, the choices we make. However, many of these beliefs are limiting. They lead us to believe that we have no control over our lives, that we must follow the rules imposed by society, or that our creative power is restricted. This distorted view makes us feel powerless and victims of circumstances, rather than creators of our own reality. The big challenge is to wake up to the fact that many of these beliefs are not true, but rather social and cultural constructions that we adopt without reflection. Real freedom begins when we question these influences and ask ourselves if they truly reflect who we are and what we want. When we realize that we can shape our own beliefs, we open up a vast field of possibilities for creating the life we desire. We no longer need to be prisoners of the ideas that have been imposed on us. By breaking away from the limitations imposed by society, we begin to discover our true power. We realize that we are creative beings, capable of shaping our reality according to our own choices and intentions. This is a profound transformation, because instead of simply reacting to the world around us, we begin to act as conscious co-creators of our experience. Life stops being something that happens to us and becomes something we can actively direct. Moments of suffering and difficulty often lead us to question what we have been taught about life and the purpose of our existence. We grow up with the idea that a higher force tests or judges us, but when we face painful situations, we begin to question this narrative. The idea of a God who punishes or rewards does not seem to align with the depth of human experiences. This leads us to seek more authentic answers and investigate our true nature. This search for inner truth arises when we realize that the answers provided by religious or cultural systems often do not satisfy our deep questions. Traditional explanations of suffering as a form of divine testing begin to lose strength, especially when we realize that these interpretations limit our understanding of the universe and our role in it. We then feel a need to explore new perspectives, which lead us to a deeper understanding of who we are. When we turn inward, we begin to realize that the answers we seek are not in external dogmas, but in our own essence. Suffering becomes, in a way, a catalyst for this search. It forces us to look beyond superficial explanations and connect with our inner power. Little by little, we discover that we are not being tested by a superior being, but that we are the creators of our own reality, and suffering is often a reflection of the beliefs and limitations we carry. This process of inner searching reveals the creative nature of our consciousness. We realize that the reality we live in is shaped by our thoughts, feelings, and beliefs. When we begin to change our worldview and free ourselves from limiting ideas, our life experience also transforms. What once seemed like a punishment or test is now seen as an opportunity for growth and expansion of consciousness. The journey to finding inner truth is not easy, but it is deeply rewarding. As we move away from traditional ideas of a God who tests and judges, we move closer to a broader understanding of our own divinity. We discover that true creative power resides within us, and that we have the ability to shape our lives according to our own intentions and desires, without the need to please an external authority. Imagination is one of the most powerful practices we have at our disposal, yet it is often underestimated. It is through it that we create reality around us. Every idea, belief, or vision we have begins in the mind and, over time, manifests itself in the physical world. What we intensely imagine and what we truly believe has the power to materialize. Thus, imagination becomes the starting point for any transformation or creation we wish to experience in our lives. What differentiates imagination from a simple thought is the level of conviction we apply to it. When we imagine something and believe it is possible, we are planting the seeds of manifestation. Everything we see around us, from the most advanced technologies to social structures, was first an idea, a vision created in someone's mind. Thus, each human being has immense creative power, capable of shaping their own experience through what they mentally project. However, most people are not aware of this power. We are often taught to disbelieve in the power of imagination, often treated as something childish or disconnected from reality. However, it is precisely the opposite. The reality we perceive is, to a large extent, the result of what we believe is possible. Imagination is the first step in the manifestation process, and recognizing this is crucial to taking conscious control of our lives. As we become aware of the power of imagination, we begin to realize that our limitations are often self-imposed. If we believe that we are not capable of accomplishing something, that belief becomes a barrier. But by using our imagination to visualize scenarios where we are successful, happy, and fulfilled, we begin to dissolve these limitations. The mind does not differentiate between what is real and what is imagined with emotion and conviction. Thus, creating new realities begins in the mind, and this is a skill that everyone has. This process of using imagination is not just about visualizing material things, but also about transforming our feelings and internal states. We can imagine peace, healing, and harmony in our lives, and these emotions are ultimately reflected in our external experience. It all starts with realizing that we have the power to choose our thoughts and create mental images that serve us, rather than being swept away by automatic thoughts that create fear or limitation. The belief that we are separate from God or a divine creative force is a delusion deeply rooted in many religious and cultural traditions. This idea suggests that God is up there or outside us as we live here on earth, subject to judgment and testing. However, this separation is illusory, for the fundamental truth is that we are an inseparable part of this same creative force. The divine essence is not far away. It is in everything we are and everything we experience. Believing that God is testing us or watching us from afar creates a feeling of helplessness. It makes us feel as if we are just passive spectators in a larger cosmic game where we have little to no control over the events of our lives. This perception of separation also leads us to look outside ourselves for answers, hoping that some external force will come to save or punish us, rather than realizing that the creative power is within us. When we begin to question this separation and explore our true nature, we realize that the divine is present in every thought, in every creative act, in every experience. God is not out there, observing us, but within us, manifesting himself through our own imagination, intuition, and ability to create. We are co-authors of our reality, and by recognizing this, we realize that divine strength flows through us every moment. Understanding that we are one with the divine creative force also changes the way we approach life's challenges. Instead of seeing them as tests or trials sent by a higher entity, we can understand them as our creations, as opportunities for growth and expansion of consciousness. We are the ones who, through our beliefs and expectations, create the circumstances we live in, and therefore, we have the power to transform them. When we free ourselves from the belief of separation, we access a new level of personal power. We recognize that everything we experience is a manifestation of our own consciousness. This change in perception empowers us, as it makes us aware that we are responsible for our lives. We are not at the mercy of external forces, but rather co-creating with the divine with every thought, with every choice. Reality as we perceive it is largely an illusion. The physical world, with its limitations, challenges, and apparent certainties, is a kind of game where the immortal being that we are pretends to be mortal. By taking on a human form, we enter into an experience carefully crafted to make us forget our true nature. We live as if we are limited by the body, time, and space, when in fact we are eternal consciousnesses who only momentarily adopt this more restricted perspective. This illusion is essential to the human experience. If we were fully aware of our immortality and creative power all the time, life as we know it would not have the same impact. Intense emotions such as fear of death, love, pain, and joy are experiences that we can only fully live while we are immersed in this simulation of limitation. This game is an opportunity to explore ourselves in ways that would not be possible on other levels of existence. Belief in divine tests is part of this illusion. When we believe that we are constantly being observed and judged by a superior force, we reinforce the feeling of separation and limitation. This narrative of judgment, present in so many religious traditions, creates a barrier between us and our true power. However, this belief is a mental construct, a way of keeping us engaged in the game of human life. We are the ones who create these stories and submit to them. Understanding life as a simulation or a game doesn't make it any less meaningful. On the contrary, it gives a new meaning to our existence. Realizing that we are here to live an authentic experience, with all its ups and downs, allows us to participate in this journey with more awareness. Every challenge we face, every emotion we feel, is part of a big piece that helps us grow and expand our perception. The illusion of reality serves as a backdrop for us to rediscover ourselves. As we begin to awaken to the true nature of reality, we can see beyond illusions and begin to exert more control over our experiences. The creative power we possess is the same power that shapes the universe, and it is available to us at all times, even when we are deeply immersed in earthly life. Illusion only controls us as long as we believe it is the absolute truth. When we recognize that we are the creators of this experience, we begin to play the game with more awareness. We live in a world where our attention is constantly fought for and manipulated. The media, social networks, governments, and various external institutions fight to capture our focus and shape our perception of reality. When we allow ourselves to be carried away by these external influences, especially those that propagate fear and uncertainty, we allow these forces to take control of our experience. Without realizing it, we begin to create a reality that exactly reflects the narratives of fear and powerlessness that are presented to us daily. Attention manipulation works because what we focus on is what we end up manifesting in our lives. When we focus our energy on negative news, disasters, conflicts, and crises, we are reinforcing these aspects in our experience. By allowing ourselves to get caught up in the cycle of fear and anxiety fueled by the media, we begin to believe that the world is a chaotic place and that we have no power to change it. This perception puts us in a state of fragility where we depend on higher powers to save us or control our reality. The key to breaking this cycle is becoming aware of where we are placing our attention. We need to recognize that the external world is a projection of our beliefs and expectations. When we allow these external influences to shape our worldview, we are, in a way, giving away our power. However, when we begin to consciously choose where to focus our attention, we regain that creative power. We begin to shape our reality according to our desires and intentions, rather than imposed narratives. It is also important to realize that the forces that seek our attention often have their own interests. They feed on our energy and our fear, keeping us trapped in a reality of limitation. The more we focus on what is wrong, the more chaos seems to increase. But when we choose to shift our attention to what we want to create, like peace, prosperity, and harmony, we begin to see changes in our world. This conscious choice frees us from manipulation and gives us back the power to co-create our experience. Regaining control over our attention does not mean ignoring the world's problems, but rather approaching them from an empowering perspective. Instead of automatically reacting to external influences, we can look at this information critically and decide whether or not it serves our growth and well-being. When we choose to focus on what raises our vibration and strengthens our positive vision of the future, we begin to attract more of these experiences into our reality. The power to create our own reality lies within each of us. Throughout life, we are often led to believe that we are victims of circumstances, influenced by external factors such as society, destiny, or even divine forces that control our path. However, the real key to a fulfilling life is recognizing that we have the power to shape our experience through our thoughts, beliefs, and imagination. Everything we experience is a reflection of what we believe is possible. Our reality is created by the focus we place on certain ideas and feelings. When we focus our attention on problems, limitations, or fears, this is what we begin to manifest. On the other hand, by focusing on solutions, our ability to overcome challenges, and our deepest desires, we begin to attract these experiences into our lives. This process is not immediate, but it is consistent. What we imagine with faith and conviction ends up becoming part of our everyday experience. However, it is important to understand that creating the reality we desire requires an internal change. We are often so conditioned to think in negative or limited ways that we don't even realize how much our beliefs influence our circumstances. Breaking this cycle requires awareness and effort. We must first recognize that we are responsible for our current reality, however difficult it may seem. From this point of recognition, we can begin to change our beliefs and, consequently, our experiences. Imagination plays a fundamental role in this process. By consciously visualizing what we desire, we begin to create a new roadmap for our lives. It's not just about wanting something superficially, but about feeling, visualizing, and believing that what we imagine is already a reality. The mind does not differentiate between what is real and what is intensely imagined, and this opens the door for us to manifest what we desire with more clarity and confidence. Another crucial point is the importance of taking control over our reactions and behaviors. We cannot change all external circumstances, but we can always control how we react to them. By choosing to respond consciously and positively, rather than being reactive or gripped by fear, we are actively exercising our creative power. Each choice we make brings us closer or further away from the reality we wish to manifest. Therefore, the power to create our reality is, always has been, and always will be in our hands. The universe responds to what we project through our imagination, our beliefs, and our actions. When we take hold of this power and begin to use it consciously, we can transform our lives into a full expression of our highest desires without being dominated by external circumstances or illusions of limitation.